Keith, you have a quote. You say that hypnosis is the cousin of meditation.
Yeah.
For me, meditation, so I'll tell you the meditation.
Mm.
What I do is I close my eyes, I imagine I'm in space, I'm looking at the earth,
Yeah.
I imagine I'm the stardust, and then I just evaporate into the stardust and I become nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm just completely taken back.
Yeah.
And within that, then I'm able to slowly just go into the nothingness and all the way down for me personally. In terms of figuring out how to actually go down into your conscious, subconscious, if there's a lot, how do you think people go about that? Because what I find is there's a reason a lot of people don't go down into their subconscious.
Yeah.
It's because there's a lot of skeletons down there. What do you think is the best approach if there's a lot of things you're putting off? Because, okay, yes, I do want to get better in my life.
Yeah.
But to actually go down, I like to call it, the way I look at it is the skyscraper. Reality is just on top of the skyscraper, but you have to get the lift down into the basement if you actually want to change things. What do you think is the best approach when it might be scary for someone?
Yeah, it's a good question. There's a lot of different approaches, right? So I think there's always a way to deal with the skeletons. It's not necessarily damn skeletons. It's not necessarily the hypnosis, it's not necessarily meditation. But like I get loads of people who come to me and go, look, I've tried everything. I hear that all the time. I've tried everything. Nobody's even tried close to everything to help themselves, right? But I do think, you see, in my world, right, we all have trauma. Everyone has trauma, right? So to pull from my own personal experience, the traumatic experiences that I've had, and I've had many, let me tell you, like I've had a lot of trauma. And like, you know, I was in a car accident that nearly killed me. My grandfather was murdered in a botched burglary. 3 days later, my auntie drowned. You know, we were dealing with 2 funerals in 1 week. And then, you know, last year alone, started with my dad dying and ended with my dog dying and a whole load of crap in between. But, you know, I had the facility, if you want to call it that, to kind of dump out my subconscious mind or deal with what's in there because I understand self-hypnosis in my own brain so well. Now, I understand that a lot of people might not have the time or the tools to understand their own brain. So what can we do? Well, we can always find a way. So some people, it's just what we talked about earlier. It's just getting into the sea and just purging there. I think purging is a good word, by the way. So I remember one time that I did purge, and it was at a Wim Hof breathing seminar, and it was in Stroe, which is about an hour north of Amsterdam. And I'm an advanced Wim Hof breather, right? Very advanced. Like I can do a breath hold with no oxygen in my lungs for 3 3/4 minutes, no bother, right? But there, it was a different experience because we did 15 minutes deep breathing, purged out all the oxygen, and then held. And I felt fine. I felt great. But then when I sat up, tears just started like coming out of me, and they didn't stop. And then people were hugging me, and they made me worse. And I was like, "Oh Jesus, this is weird." I'm not like, it gave me the ick. Like I'm not one for being hugged by strangers. I'm like, Jesus, I'm now the guy, right? But it was a fantastic.
Keynote, do not hug Keith.
But it was a fantastic reaction because it was really healing for me. So loop back to it with people who've got, and the other thing is, I am like one of these people who truly believe that a lot of people have a victim mentality. Yeah. So the first thing is recognizing, do you have a victim mentality?
That honesty.
And if you do, you've got to address that first and foremost. But then there's so many different things out there. Like there's psychotherapy, there's psychology. But if people want to do it themselves, self-hypnosis is fantastic. Meditation is fantastic. But again, these things aren't for everybody. And yeah, I think, you know, just talk therapy. Like I had a difficult year last year, and the best thing I did was I knew I could call on my best mate, so I called him every day, and I knew he'd be okay with that, and he knows that I'm there for him if he ever hits troubled times. That was the best thing I did, was just keep talking about the problem. And I would say to him, I know this is a pain in the arse for you right now, Al, but I just need to talk this out. And he'd always say, no, it's not. And it really wasn't for him because it was just 10, 15 minutes of his time. Now, it was every day for a long time until I got better. But like for a while there last year, like even my eye, with all the tools and techniques I have, I was kind of on the edge for a bit, you know?
Well, I'm sad and sorry that happened to you, Keith. It is very refreshing though. Like you're someone who's accomplished so much. You understand your mind. For me, it'd be soul. That's a whole other conversation.
I like the soul. I'm a hippie behind it. Don't worry. You'd find me barefooted up the mountains if I wasn't in a tracksuit.
Love it. But it's just the biggest thing with the podcast is for me is people are human. Like even the people that you go on, because we're speaking about social media and you go on and someone's telling you about their life or how many cold plunges they've done, and your reaction is just, oh my God, how is that person doing it? But I'm not doing it. But even the best, and you're one of the best in the world to ever do this, can have their down days and that they're human. So I think it's just really important for anyone listening that you're human at the end of the day. And
yeah, I think, look, if you look at anybody in my world being self-development, mentalism, like I do a lot, right? So self-development, mentalism, hypnotism, entertainment, all that kind of stuff. I don't appreciate when people put themselves up on pedestals myself. So I'm always conscious of not doing that myself. And I think it's important to show and share vulnerability. Like in all of my years, last year was the most vulnerable I felt.
Oh.
Like I was just like, Jesus, I can't control my own mind. I'm still doing my ice baths. I'm still doing my breathing, but it's not helping. So that's when I ended up talking to my friend a lot. And that really helped me. And then I appreciate other people go down certain areas like ayahuasca and psilocybin and all that kind of stuff, and that under like proper guidance can be beneficial for a lot of people. I have heard some stories where the drugs don't work, as they say, so you have to be careful.
Loopy.
Yeah, you go a little bit loopy, but